Hello everyone. How are we doing? You guys cool? You guys hanging? You guys having a good week? Did you have a nice weekend? I realise it's only Monday, but are you having a nice week anyway? We are live, we are back. And we're doing a little bit more MESBG today. That's what we're doing. Today, we're going to be building some stuff for a ride out list. And we've got basically just kind of a couple of bits and pieces here to put together for what will hopefully be a really cool video at some point in the near future. So for those of you who don't know, nowadays in MESBG, when you build a list, you build it based on a specific army list that you have access to from the books, and they are more often than not about moments in the film. And of course, one of the greatest moments in all three films is when Theoden and Aragorn finally draw swords together. So that is what we are going to be building up today. Is what we're going to be doing. So we've got Gamling to do, who doesn't in the film ride out, but he is in the list, and there is a individual carrying the banner of the standard of Rohan, so it should probably be Gamling, because he is equipped with the royal standard of Rohan. There are some Rohan Royal Guard. We have Aragorn, Theoden, and we have Legolas on horse. So yeah, all of that good stuff. I'm just trying to see if I've got... Yeah, that'll do. So yeah. How are you guys doing? A lot of MESBG lately, and I am here for it. That's what I like to hear, Mr. Drafter Pants. This is Me Time Monday, after all, and my heart does lie with MESBG and Age of Sigmar, but MESBG is where it all began, really. It's where the true love of Warhammer began, so we might as well stay true to our roots. I'm so excited for the new Hellsmith, I may have pre-ordered it through my local store. How'd you manage that, Elijah? It's not on pre-order yet. Probably don't tell me where your local store is, because they've broken the rules. My mother is choosing branches for awakened wildwood trees. Like it, Lisi. I like it a lot. Mark, thank you very much for being a member for 49 months! 49? We're into year 5 now, brother. You must be, and I think I probably say this every time, but you must be one of the first members of the channel. And you're still here, because you're a ruddy bloody legend. Good afternoon, Josh. Have your fellowship tutorial on repeat. Finished Boromir and Legolas. Only 7 more to go. Nice. Nice. Are you finding that video useful? Are you enjoying it? Because this one will be kind of similar in that regard. So far of the ride out units that are available, and we need to build some Royal Guard with some swords, because that would be technically more screen accurate. But what we have currently ready to go is all that you'll see before you hear. Theoden, King of Rohan. There he is. We've already done a video on him. You can see how to paint him, so he's not going to be in this video, but as you can see, we've got 3 Royal Guard back here. So what we have is we have a Legolas on horse. Just Legolas as well. This model is not in print. So it's going to be a difficult one to square away with YouTube, but there we go. So but it does exist if you can find it. I didn't find it. I'm the favourite found it, because he's the favourite. So we have Legolas on horse, who needs a bit of building, of course. So there we go. That's that one. We have this version of Aragorn on horse, because it's the only one that there isn't a Helm's Deep version. So there we go. Are you using primer for metal minis? Well, yes, I will be using Grey Seer primer or Wraithbone, depends on what it thinks. I'm only 3 months behind Mark. You are. You two are founding members. I should do something for you guys. So this is the other one we need to do. Gamling on horse. And then we've got some Rohan Royal Knights as well. So 3, 4, and 5 models. 6 models need to be built today. And that's what we're going to be doing. That's what we're going to be starting with, I should say. So the first thing to do is probably to drill out Legolas's base. It's probably going to be like that, I reckon. We shall see. I'm going to look up a picture. Legolas on horse. Images. Miniature. I just want pictures of Orlando Bloom riding a horse. Okay, yeah, no, it is right up against it. Okay, cool. Lovely. Alright. So, I'm also choosing to believe that the inclusion of Crimson Fists in the Imperial Fist transfer sheet means that Pedro Cantor is coming soon. Come on, GW, let my hopes not be in vain. I did not know that they'd done that. I came very, very close to buying that that combat patrol, because I would like to have that combat patrol, because I would like to do some more Imperial Fists, because I would like to get that army off the ground properly, because at the moment we're just burning through all the characters. Josh getting all the other models done for when he allows GW to release the new riders that he has hidden away, ready to go to recreate the film. Yes. You caught me. Alright, base, hull, created. So now, Legolas should slide in there when we're ready to build him a little bit more. Lovely. Good stuff. Hey man, love your vids. They've changed my view on contrast painting. Would you consider doing more White Scars themed models, please? I'm sure we will do a White Scars themed model, because there will be the what's it called? The new Khan on bike. I'm sure we'll do that then. Speaking of Imperial Fists and all things new Space Marine, here's Lysander for those of you who haven't seen it already. That's on its way. And if you haven't already seen it, you can also see Contrast Plus How to Paint Ethon Shan, the Master of Shadows. That video is live now. This one will be live on Thursday. 2 brand new Space Marine captains, or chapter masters, or company captains, or whatever you want to call it. But here we have it. 2 brand new miniatures on the way. Well, this one's already here. This one will be out on Thursday. And there he is. I feel like I did a really good job on this one. Look at that cloak. Wow. Does the Raven Guard decal sheet come with anything special? I have no idea. No idea. I haven't got the combat patrol. I've just got these 2 mils. Lysander? Hardly knew her. How often did you practice freehanding to get to where you are? Oh, well... you can pretty much see my freehanding journey here live on the channel if you go through all of the videos over the last 5-6 years. That's basically been it. Alright, let's get working on Legolas, shall we? Let's get him done first, because he's out. Hello, Kira. Right, I feel like we need to take off a bit of this metal on the underside. Of the grass. Just a little bit. There's definitely better ways of doing this, but I've never encountered them. Okay, so here it is. Here is the horse body of Legolas. So it's actually in pretty reasonable condition. We don't actually have a ton of like extra flash gates or whatever that need to just come off. The only thing that I think maybe we need to do here is, you see in here, we perhaps need to just shave some of that off. So let's see. Yeah, that folds really easily, so that's not meant to be there. Just like that. Just take off a bit of it. And this one is probably almost fine. It's nearly there. We just need to, like I said, just take a tiny bit off. Like that. There we go. Okay. Part number 1. So then, like I said, that will slot in there, like so. And we're off to the races. Ricky Drinks Paints with membership for 28 months. Thank you so much. Is there a video coming for Legolas Mounted? There will be, Carteroth. The plan here is to do Ride Out With Me, to do the whole thing. So the idea being that essentially we do Legolas on horse, Aragorn on horse, we do Rohan Royal Knights, and we do Gamling as well at the same time, and then we've done the whole kind of constituent parts of the army list that's required to do. What glue are you using, Josh? I will be using super glue. Gamling 2 with the banner. That is correct. This is Loctite's Precision Super Glue. Are there better choices out there? Probably. Is this what was available in my local supermarket? Yes. Am I lazy? Also correct. So we're just going to hold that for a minute. Crushed it. The next leg goes in here. And I'm not even gonna dry fit it. I'm just gonna assume I know what I'm talking about. That looks a little low, don't you think? That's because it is. It goes that way. Whee! And then we have this. We have Legolas's bow itself. And we've got a little bit of a extra bit of metal here, which we don't want. So that can go. I think that's it though. Yep. Marvellous. Oh, it's very tight to the horse. That's not the end of the world, though. And there we have it. One down. It was easy, wasn't it? Will, thank you very much for becoming a member. That is very, very kind of you. Thank you. You are our first new member of the week. You love to see it. Worst painter here? Now, come on now. With the $100 super chat. What, are we prepping your ride out or something? That is correct. That is exactly what we're doing. We started with Legolas. You think you'll bet the upcoming Chaos Raptors kill team as Night Lords or something else since they're Chaos generic? I don't know. What would you like to see, Swennels? I would probably lean towards doing them as Night Lords to go with the Nemesis Claw kill team that I've already done. And now I'm off to the races. I've begun a Night Lords army then at that point. Where'd you get such a rare mini, Josh? You sent it to me. I already said you did. You sent it to me. And then you've gone and dropped 50 gifted Warhipster memberships. Like an absolute crazy person. What are you doing, brother? It's too early in a week to be doing stuff like that. Thank you so much. Worst painter here. I'm going to keep saying that you're the favourite. I prefer that name. That is incredibly kind of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Excited for more horse content. Let's go. I'm new to the hobby. Learning to paint is rough. However, I always loved the lore. I got myself Death Guard Battle Force. What is your opinion on painting them red? In my opinion, you can do whatever you like because it's your hobby, and I think they would look sick in red. A nice dark, a dark crusty red for the Death Guard would look amazing. I think the best choices are Night Lords or Black Legion, but I have an outlier suggestion in the form of red Corsairs. Never see anyone paint them. Could use some red Corsairs. Like the stream, if you got a membership, worst painter here, or the favourite, as he's commonly known, is true. Please do hit the like button on the stream. It is the best way to support me for free. It's the best way to support me for free. Iron Within or Iron Without. I still haven't been able to get a copy of Perturabo. Let's go and see if he's in stock. Perturabo. He is still out of stock. Unfortunately, Batman. Like the stream if you didn't get one, and maybe you will. That's true. Reza is here, says, can I do you? I mean, if you like. You have to ask Alice, though. She's in control of that. Here's what I don't understand. Sometimes you'll be building a model, and it will sit in the base perfectly fine and happy, and then you introduce glue to the scenario, and it goes, "Nah, bro, I'm not sticking." Technically not a new member. Was a member for a while, but had some issues, but now remembered. It's all right, Will. There is no obligation here ever to be a member or anything like that. I know your name from the membership role. Thank you very much for remembering. That's very kind of you. I would love to see what recipes you have for the Saturnine box. Can we expect any more content of it, dude? Well, I don't have a Saturnine box. I didn't get one. I just got sent the big gun. So I don't currently have any intention to do any Saturnine content, unfortunately. However, there is some Horus Heresy content that will be making its way to the channel soon. I've got to figure out some scheduling things, but for example, we have Sigismund's over here. He's been looking at me for a while, and I want to get him done. Evander Garius is there. Mortarion is over there. Gilliman is here in a pile of resin. And I need to get Perturabo, obviously. So there's a bunch of heresy content that we need to make. So who knows? Right. Legolas is done. Had to slightly readjust him on the base because he wasn't really central. I don't know, he kind of still isn't really. No, I'm happy with that, the way that is. There we go. Legolas, built. One down. Right, who's next? Aragorn? Or Gamling? What do you want to see? What are these models? What year are they from? And how expensive are they? How nervous are you of messing up with these, Josh? Oh, I'm not nervous at all. I'm all good. That Royal Guard. Yeah, I've got some of my Royal Guard that I've built. I've got, obviously, as you know, more to build. So we're going to do a couple with swords today, hopefully. Not a criticism, just an observation. Your 40k Orc playlist is definitely lacking video. It needs more videos, does it? What have we done? I actually do have one that I'm in the midst of working on at the moment, actually. Big Mech. I'd offer to buy you some Saturnine, but it's not Memmy SPG, so no. Swennels, thank you very much for becoming a member. That's very kind of you. The thing is, I always often say with the Saturnine stuff is, I've already basically done it, because we did all of the heresy stuff last year. Right, we need one of these. We did, not last year, we did heresy stuff 3 years ago. Wow. That is, these need a wash, that's for sure. Okay, well, we'll build them and then they'll get washed anyway. We did all of the schemes for them, and ultimately the content would be exactly the same. So that's why I didn't buy a heresy box. I didn't buy a Saturnine box at the time. That being said, never say never. You never know what kind of stuff might come around the corner. Never know what Games Workshop might send. Who knows? They didn't send me a Saturnine box though. They only sent me the cannon. So I did the cannon for the article, but that was the extent of it. But we'll figure out some other stuff eventually at some point. You need more Royal Guard. No, I don't need more Royal Guard. I have 9. I'm all good. We don't need Legolas and Gimli on horse for this. We'll deal with that later. We just need Aragorn for the sake of ride out. So this stuff is covered in these little gates we were talking about earlier, so we need to get rid of those. But ultimately it's a pretty simple build. It's that, and then that, basically. So we've got to get rid of all of this stuff before we can go any further with that. So let's get on with it, shall we? Let's use... Sounds like you're about 12 short. I don't need 21 of them. For the sake of the movie, we only need like 4. Then again, for the sake of the movie, we also need Arwen, because it's clearly her that's in the bit. Aha. Knew there was more. I can't see any more bits. Can you? Oh, there's one. Obviously, there's this bit on the foot as well that needs to go. But I just want to... I don't see any more. What about you guys? A Lunar Wolves recipe. I haven't done a Lunar Wolves recipe, no. Technically not part of the Horus Heresy. Oh, wait, this whole thing needs to come off. "20 more Royal Guard on foot and horse." No, I don't. Stop trying to send models. Please. There is a Lunar Wolf in Outcast Dead, which is part of the heresy. Very true. However, that very same character does go on, more famously, to serve as a knight errant. Which I would say. I don't want Arwen on. She's not in the movie. They cut her for a reason. Okay. Part 1 is done. What colour is Big Mech going to be? Green. Colours of the box art. You can never have too many models. I actually do have too many models at this present time. We don't have much space in our house is the thing. Like it's actually we are pretty much at saturation. Once we move, we'll have a lot more space. I thought I did see you both sneak in there. Captain Mannering's hello, and Colonel of the 149th Death Corps of Greek. I've just also seen Pritters asking what is everyone else working on tonight? That is a good question. What is everyone else working on tonight? How are the plans to move coming along, Josh? They have progressed to a point of where we can't do anything. We're in the midst of waiting upon some correspondence. It's that boring part, you know. You need to come off, as do you. Right, so you slide in there. Oh yeah, look at that. It is a shame that there are still so many. I'm working on a jacket potato. Dinner plans? Don't mind if I yes. Building my Saturnine box and Age of Darkness box. Nice. Waiting for some prat to say something. Yeah, basically that's where we're at. That's where we're at with the process. We're waiting for the prats. Yeah, that will do. Alright, let's clean up the sword arm. But hopefully things progress as we want them to. And if not, we'll be back to the drawing board. But I dislike the drawing board. I don't want to go back there. It's boring. I'm working on building the rest of my Grey Hunters. Nice. Finishing the diorama, waiting for my Stormstrike chariot for Beast Feet. Beast Feast. Beast Fest? Beast Feast. Either way, it sounds cool. Sangheili mercenaries from the Halo Flashpoint box and some terrain for the game as well. Nice. So you're all being wonderfully productive. Is what I'm hearing. I'm not quite sure what the angle on this is supposed to be. Like that, I think. Okay. Alright, well, let's just get the body together, and then we'll see where we're at. And then we'll drill out his base. So much going on in one's head. It was my birthday and a nice man made me a cocktail with Noily Pratt of all things. Well, happy birthday, Fake Street Spirit. One of my favourite things about the Horus Heresy is when you try and type it into a phone, it always autocorrects it to the Horus Hearsay. I always enjoy that. Right, I think we go right here in the middle. Maybe it needs to be a little off-center. Maybe it needs to be that one. It's definitely not that one. Maybe it is that one. Let's just drill it as well. We'll see. Is it your birthday today, Captain Mannerings? What? I've missed something here. Happy birthday, Captain Mannerings. September babies are the best babies, right? I say this as one of them. I was born as one of them. Yeah, that works. That works better, I think. Yeah. Alright, so the sword, I'm pretty certain goes in like this. Ooh. Like that. At that angle. Look at what you're doing, Josh. I don't want to see you stabbing your own hand live on stream. Ah, we've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Ow! How's the Big Elves video going? Well, changed significantly because Thranduil's done. Legolas is done. So need to figure out something else on how to do that particular video. I think what we'll do is we'll just make some trash videos of each of the every single individual things. I mean, look, they're not going to get viewed very much. It doesn't matter. The main thing is you want to see Mirkwood stuff done, and you don't really care about the rest of it. So we'll just do the Mirkwood stuff at some point. It's just easier to do it that way, to be honest. The difficulty with it is that as you know, is I don't want to build the models because they're awful Finecast models. So I have to both be in a place where I'm happy to build and paint awful Finecast models, and right now I don't want to do that right now. This arm does not want to glue. I might be here for some time. Did you guys see the new Drakari models? Yes. The Archon and Lady Malice are very, very pretty. Oh my god, it glued. Right, we're just going to leave it and not disturb it for some time. Break out the pin vise. If I had one, I would. Well, unless you mean a little drill. I don't see how that's going to help me. Care about Rivendell / Last Alliance too. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, the easiest thing for me to do is probably just to build some Warriors of Numenor and just paint Warriors of the Last Alliance and just do that. Why not? Then it's done. It's, you know, it is what it is. Let's not overcomplicate the videos, you know. I realised I touched the model after I said I wouldn't for some time. I think that's right, though. I think that is the angle of the dangle, as it were. If it's multiple videos. No, that's not why. The reason why, I was thinking about it the other day, and actually I was talking to you about it the other day. As you know, around these parts, I very much like it, or very much want to be known as the person who does X. So, for example, I want to be the Stormcast guy. As we know, I need to get to like something like 100 MESBG videos to be the person who has the MESBG painting tutorial guy. So, if we can get 100 of those videos, that would be great, wouldn't it? But I reckon, because I think I've got the Mirkwood Sentinels. No, what are they called? What are they Rangers? What's the one of them in their soft clothes? In their sweats. What's that one called? I've definitely got them. Well, I think I've got them, and I'm pretty certain I've got Palace Guards. Mirkwood Rangers. There you go. I was completely way off. I was way off base. Just put a little bit of glue on there. Do that. Okay, this will do. I'm going to hold this for a while. Is there a tournament or game day coming up soon that is the reason you are putting this list together? Nope. This is Me Time Monday, so I'm doing what I want to do. For me. And I want to do this. Currently cursing the idiot who glued the shields onto these Chaos Warriors. Spoiler, it was me. Yeah, he just took a leaf out of my book. That's how I roll. Assemble it all the way it is. I have a question for you, chat. Is anybody here excited for Hellsmiths of Hashut this weekend? Obviously, there was announced that they're going on pre-order. Or is everyone like, I don't care, give me more Space Marines? Cool. So, we have Aragorn. We have Legolas. We have Theoden, video already available. And we have 1, 2, 3 Rohan Royal Guard. So now we need a Gamling to go right here. And then we need like 2 more Royal Guard. Gamling! And Hammer. We'll deal with that later. Right now, all we need is Gammas. And he comes in a mighty 2 pieces by the looks of things. That's exciting for Josh. But my God. There is something terrible has happened here to Gamling. My God, something terrible has happened to him. His spear. Look at that. Well, let's get that straightened out, shall we? And the rest of it's all sculpted together, so it is just going to be a bit on the wonk. But we do need the spearhead to be straight. This is what I mean. There's only 2 pieces here, which is cool. That's what we like. Alright. Let's go to the face. Whilst I remove some tiny bits of metal from these 2 pieces. Tiny bits of metal. Do I need the picture up? Maybe. Let's have a look. Gamling! Gamling und Hammer. Yeah, so that bit needs to come off. Cool. We learned something new. Boo, 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 boo. Ah. I'll be buying dwarfs and more Votan for the rest of the year. Nice. I'll probably get the new dwarfs big box. Then it will be on a shelf until it all has a magic Josh tutorial. A magic Josh tutorial. But what if I do a really bad job? What if they're like rubbish tutorials? You never know. It is possible. Then I shall take my patronage elsewhere. Josh has lost it. Okay, initially I thought there was lots of these little metal bits, but there isn't actually that many on here. He does strike me as the kind of model that's not going to take to gluing to a plastic base very well. Okay. Okay, there's a last little bit that needs to come off this. Hello, Star Pilot. Then I can do mine and start from what you did. Duh. I start from Josh tutorials to figure out where to go with mine. Oh, I see what you mean. Because I live in fear of you having a way I like better. Come on now. Oh, it's on there. Right, okay. Wait, hang on. Is there meant to be a bit of... Nope. That's all got to come off. One of the things that's going to be fun when we move is discovering all the little bits of plastic and or resin and or metal that have just flown off as I've been building. Because they're all in here somewhere. I also look forward to discovering all of the heads that got left behind. Because I was like, nope, can't be bothered. A helmet it is. A helmet it shall be for you, character. By the way, Raven Daddy came out great. Oh, thank you very much. Banana Daddy's up next. Got to play some MESBG on the weekend. I was playing Thorin's Company and made it to the top table in the final round, but then lost a close game. Were you at the same thing that Adam was at? Also, commiserations. And also, congratulations. Well done on getting to the top table. I expect no less from the master of the meta that is Mr. Watkin. Alright, here he is. Here's old Gammers. How's that for a rough model? My God. You are, of course, referring to Ethon Shan, Master of Shadows. This video is already available, and this one is coming on Thursday. Space Marines. Yay! Right, we've got to do that same thing that we did with Aragorn. Figure out which one of these holes he's going to go into. Arguably, actually, this time around, I do think the middle one is probably the choice. So let's go for it. Wahey! 19 months! Thank you very much for being a member for 19 months, Star Pilot. 19 months, wow, banging length of time. Question for you, Mr. Warhipster. What colours would you use for skin tones like the Alpha Legion models have? Can't wait to see the Chorf videos coming soon. Well, I mean, look, you can use any colour that you want for any kind of Space Marine. The best thing to do, I would suggest, is I have a video on the channel which is 10 contrast plus skin recipes on Chaos cultists, and in there there's just a pile of recipes that you could use to paint a multitude of different skin tones. In that one video, I will go and find the link for you though, because I always forget the exact title of that video. But in that video we did do 10. You boob. Come to me. Warhipster skin. There is 10 Contrast Plus skin recipes and how to paint Chaos Cultists. So in here, you will probably find the answer to your question. There we go. Pow. The Lemon Lord. I like that better than the Banana Daddy. Banana Daddy sounds weird. How's the Titan coming along? Oh, well, I actually have an update about the Titan. The gentleman who is building it for me has finally stopped gallivanting around the globe and says he's going to be building it up now. So we should have that come together in the next weeks and months, I'm sure. Maybe we'll have it done in time for a New Year's Day tradition, 24-hour Warlord Titan painting stream, or perhaps, just perhaps, when the big house move happens, and if you guys want to support the outfitting of the new studio as and when it happens, maybe, just maybe, our 24-hour stream that we'll do then will be painting a Warlord Titan, if it's ready in time. We shall have to see. Tail stream is this Sunday at around what time? It should be this Sunday. I need to text Mr. Gwatkin, Mr. Reza, and Mr. Adam. I will do that after the stream. I shall figure that out for you. But it should be around the sort of normal time of around 7:30. And gentlemen, have you asked someone else to build it then? As far as I'm concerned, Peter is a gentleman, Ed. Can we all agree to be super critical and horrible to my images, given my name? No, unfortunately, that is not the vibe. Oh, that is not the vibe of A Tale of Many Warhipsters, I'm afraid, worst painter. You are unfortunately going to get complimented on your excellent work. And if you didn't want to be, you shouldn't have submitted it. Cool, well, I'll just be holding this then for the next 5 minutes, like always. Already in the diary. Thank you, Mr. Gwatkin. Legend. Hello, Travis. How are you? What would you suggest for painting the Immolator stained glass window? Got one coming for my birthday next month and kinda dreading it. Does it come as coloured plastic in the box? I'm not sure. I can't Google it. Doing well. Been busy with protests and political activism, so it's been quite the summer. You're fighting the good fight. Oh, it still won't stick. I knew it. No, it does not come with coloured plastic for the glass. By the looks of things. So my view on doing stained glass, you could probably get away with going for quite a dark silver metallic and just use the metallics to, use the contrast paints over the top of it that you want. It will give you that kind of slightly shiny that you need without it being too visually metallic, as it were. Done. Gamling rides at long last. Good lord, that's a heavy model. So, Theoden. Let's put Aragorn here. Legolas. Gamling. Royal Guard. Royal Guard. Royal Guard. So I reckon if we get 2 more Royal Guard done, it'll look like the film. Is that the banner, Gamling? It is indeed. And worst painter with a $100 super chat. Further bribery must be Monday. Require no further bribery. I'm doing this. That's very generous of you. Thank you very much. I just realised we should probably here for the rest of the week. We should go back to Bow. Okay. Rohan Royal Knights. Here they are. So we're going to go with a couple of sword ones in this case. Because we've got 3 there with spears. I will point out as well, actually, that we do also have for our general use, not that version. We want this version. Yeah, there he is. So we have Helm's Deep Legolas on foot. There he is. So he goes with that version just there. And we also have Helm's Deep Aragorn as well, who goes here. So we will need to put Gamling on foot as well. We have Theoden on foot. Maybe that's what we... maybe we just quickly do Gamling on foot. That should be reasonably simple to do. Oh no! Something terrible has happened! Something terrible has happened to Gamling on foot! He's not in a good way. He's not in a good way. His spear is also having a funny 5 minutes. But also, his sword is having a funny 5 minutes. Alright, let's get those corrected. And straightened out. Pachow. There we go. Oh, hang on. No, not quite. Okay. Straightened out. Sword time. Good lord, this is a lot of metal. Alright, let's get rid of that. The worst painter here with 20 gifted warriors. Stop it. Stop it now. That's very kind of you. Thank you very much. Stop it. Thankfully, Gamling on foot is just one piece, so we don't actually have to glue anything together. We just got to put him on his base, but we do need to clean him up. Time are we on? 5 to 7. Oh, we're flying through it, guys. It is funny, ever since they, in MESBG, ever since they introduced a limit for throwing weapons, it does make, doing the Rohirrim a little bit more difficult, especially with Rohan Royal Guard, because of the 33% limit. Because in a box of Riders of Rohan, you get 2 with throwing spears. 2 with throwing spears, 2 with hand weapons, and 2 with bows out. Of course, they're all equipped with bows. So it is just a case of, does one equip all of your Rohan Royal Guard with throwing spears and just buy Rohan... Riders of Rohan to add more sword and bow ones, or does one throw in some sword guys? And I'm going to throw in some sword guys because I like the swords as well as much as I like the throwing spears as well. I just like them having it's called bribing, not bankrolling. Keep telling me to stop and I'll go to PayPal. I'll be quiet then. Five minutes before I need to talk on the phone for work. Bloody dead jobs, eh? Who'd have them? Me. This is my job. I love my job. I get to build Lord of the Rings miniatures while I talk to people on the internet. It's the best kind of job in the world. Took us ever such a long time to get here, but we are here. Just think, if we got to 100,000 subscribers, we'd be able to just do whatever the heck we wanted all the time, you know? But, you know, we're still not there. Well, to be fair, that's more of if we got to 1 million subscribers. But unfortunately, one does have to pay attention to the trends a little bit and paint the things that are popular a little bit in order to get there, you see? It's the double-edged sword. Okay. And he's on. Thing is, if they're going to do new Rohan Royal Guard, I want them to be the same as the ones from the Orig Tridge, as it were, from the Lord of the Rings, not the ones from War of the Rohirrim. Because the ones from Orig Tridge are beautiful. Like, just like they look amazing in the film. I'll just sit and hold him for a minute longer. My daughter started watching your videos with me at bedtime. She loves the puppy Spaceballs ones, but is concerned that the paint on your thumb is a boo-boo and that you need a band-aid. She's right. I should clean my thumb more often. Final charge of the Rohirrim in Return of the King makes me well up every single time. Don't. Don't. There are so many parts of those films. I always think it's not going to get me this time. It's not going to get me this time. I'm not going to let it get me this time. And yet, every single time I watch the film, the moment Aragorn says, "My friends, you bow to no one," tears. It happens every single time. Every single time without fail. Every single time. Hi Josh, are the Hellsmiths of Hashut already on the horizon of your postbox? I don't know, mate. One could say one is excited to paint Hellsmiths of Hashut. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. I don't know though, and you don't know, and nobody knows what's happening with the Hellsmiths of Hashut. Only that they go on pre-order on Saturday, and that is the extent of the knowledge that anybody has. That's the best movie scene of all time, no question. Oh, yeah. I mean, there's so many in all three of those films. Like, I absolutely... there's so much of the Two Towers, for example, that I just... Um, just in the films that they speak to me on some sort of very primal, childlike level because of how important they were and how formative they were for me as where I'm at now, basically. But like I read the books very, very young because I needed to be challenged because there wasn't enough going on. I was quite an advanced reader for my age, and so yeah, it's there's lots of parts of those films that are just incredibly important to me, that are extremely emotional. You know, when Gandalf falls in the first one, when Boromir dies as well. Spoiler. But it's as Sam sinks to the bottom of the Anduin, and then Frodo's hand comes down and grabs him. I made a promise, Mr. Frodo, a promise. Don't you leave him, Samwise Gamgee. And I don't mean to. You know? By rights, we shouldn't even be here, but we are. It's like in the great stories, Mr. Frodo, the ones that really mattered. Full of darkness and danger they were. Sometimes you didn't want to know the end, because how could the end be happy? How could the world go back to the way that it was, when so much bad had happened? But in the end, it's only a passing thing, this shadow. Even darkness must pass. A new day will come, and when the sun shines, it will shine out the clearer. Those were the stories that stayed with you, that meant something, even if you were too small to understand why. But I think, Mr. Frodo, I do understand. I know now. Folk in those stories had lots of chances to turn back, only they didn't, because they were holding on to something. What are we holding on to, Sam? But there's some good in this world, Mr. Frodo, and it's worth fighting for. I think at last you and I understand each other, Frodo Baggins. You know the laws of our country, of your father. If you let them go now, your lives will be forfeit. Then it is forfeit. Release them! I'm curious as to chat's favourite. Which is your favourite of the three Lord of the Rings movies? Which is your favourite of the three? But for me, it probably is The Two Towers. In the past few years, I used to listen to Theoden's and Aragorn's speeches before university exams to charge me up or to shove off some anxiety. It really helped. I can see that. A day may come. Wait, what is it? Or is it Sons of Gondor of Rohan, my brothers? I see in your eyes the same fear that would take the heart of me. Something like that. I'm going to look it up. Sons of Gondor, of Rohan, my brothers, I see in your eyes the same fear that would take the heart of me. A day may come when the courage of men fails, when we forsake our friends and break all bonds of fellowship. But it is not this day. An hour of wolves and shattered shields, when the age of men comes crashing down. But it is not this day. This day we fight! By all that you hold dear on this good earth, I bid you stand, men of the West. That's the one. The Two Towers extended or theatre? I hated the one in theatres myself. They murdered Faramir's character in that version. Okay, so I actually do prefer the theatrical versions, but only because they flow better and they are the ones I've seen the most. The pacing is just perfect in The Two Towers as a film. Maybe not necessarily for the story of The Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers, but as a film, the pacing of it is spot on. It just holds you the entire way through it. It's just because that is one of the things that really puts me off about some when I'm watching some films, is when the pacing is just all over the place, or it's just like, get on with it. But at no point do I feel in The Two Towers like it's get on with it. The only thing with the Return of the King is you feel that way towards the end. Because of the endless amount of whiteouts that it does. Is how I would say. How could you say such things? because like I said, because they are better paced as films than the extended cuts, which is obviously the whole point, right? The extended cuts are the extended cuts. They're not meant to be theatrically shown, so they're not meant to be paced well. This is just because they're not how the film was intended to be seen. Is the point. Aragorn in the films is a better character. Aragorn in the books is a better king. Aragorn is much better represented as, I agree with you, is much better represented as a character in the films. Because in the books he's he's not so much like the reluctant king. In the books he's like, yeah, I'm ready. I'm about to be king. I'm gonna king this bitch. That's his whole vibe in the books. Because he's been preparing for it all his life. Whereas obviously the one we see on screen is much more, hesitant to be king. Has doubts and this, that, and the other. So on screen he's portrayed much better as a character, and a much more interesting character, as it were. I love as well the moment that you see him start to, the moment he sort of actually starts to accept who he is as well, is the moment when he tells Theoden to ride out with me. That is the moment when that is the moment when he makes that decision. You kind of see it as he look. Obviously, he knows something that Theoden doesn't, in that Gandalf is coming. Look to my coming at first light on the 5th day at dawn. Look to the east, and he knows that's about to happen. But in that moment, he knows that he has to be. In that moment, he makes a decision to step into that role as king, as leader of men. It's where he takes on the responsibility of pushing Theoden to the point of where he always needed to be, and Theoden is finally ready to hear it as well. But that's the thing I think I would say about all three of the films, is not only do the films maybe don't really get Faramir's character right most of the time, they actually don't get Theoden spot on much of the time. He kind of becomes a de facto father figure to much of them, especially Merry and stuff like that. Like his passing is so impactful, obviously in the books. It's there's a whole thing about how when Éomer discovers Éowyn and Theoden's bodies, he flies into a berserk rage. And there's a thing, as I recall, it's been a long time since I read them, about how he flies, the Rohirrim no longer fight with a song in their heart. Something changes about them. They just become these like merciless killers, and it's like, oh, terrifying to behold in this, that, and the other. The Army of the Dead is much better in the films as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they don't actually do much in the books. More of a distraction, and he actually gathers living soldiers. Yeah, if I remember correctly, what Aragorn... Firstly, Aragorn doesn't go to the Pass of the Dead with just Legolas and Gimli. He goes with Halbarad, Elladan, Elrohir, and a number of the Dunedain of the North, where they encounter the Warriors of the Dead. But he uses the Warriors of the Dead to basically kill the Corsairs of Umbar, which is why they're on those ships in the first place. But that's it. He then goes, cool, you held your oaths fulfilled, off you go. But then they sail up the Umbar, picking up all of the soldiers who didn't make it to Pelennor in time. So like there's more men from Lossarnach and stuff like that turn up at that point with him. Is if I recall it correctly. So the Army of the Dead never actually go to Minas Tirith, but naturally, you can't on screen show this basically weapon of mass destruction, kill a bunch of pirates on ships, and then just go, cool, off you go. And then they're just done for the rest of the... Because everyone will be like, well, why didn't you take them to the Pelennor? In the same way everyone says, well, why didn't they take them to the Black Gate? Is there any part of the books the films missed that you wish they included? Yes. The thing that I wish they had included is more of Éowyn. And particularly Éowyn's journey... Well, not Éowyn's journey, but Éowyn and Faramir's story. Because they fall in love and get married and this, that, and the other. And there's a lovely period of courting from Faramir, where in the Houses of Healing and like all of that section, of Aragorn refusing to enter Minas Tirith because he's not a king yet. He has to be welcomed in or something. I can't remember why, but it's prophesied that the king would first enter the city as with the hands of a healer, not with the hands of a warrior, and this, that, and the other. So he goes in, and he secretly goes in and helps out in the helps out in the hospital. But obviously a number of them are left behind because they're all battered and bruised. Eowyn and Faramir being two of them, and they, you know, there's a lovely courtship of the two of them, which would be lovely. I would love to. I would actually just watch a film of that, to be honest, on its own. You know, ever the optimist, Josh. Ever the romantic. But yeah, that whole section I would love to have had in the film. But naturally, you can't put that into a film because you'd kill the pacing of the film if we then sat and watched Faramir hit on Eowyn for a month and a day. For a similar reason, you know, I'm glad they didn't have the Dunedain and Halbarad and that turn up, because you would be essentially having a number of Aragorn lookalikes turn up. And it would just be too confusing for the audience to be like, wait, no, okay, who are these guys? What's their deal? Oh, these are my pals. And the thing, of course, you always have to bear in mind is that when you make a film like The Lord of the Rings, you're not making it for the people who've read it. You're making it for a much broader audience, which is why you obviously get changes and stuff. So you have to make it accessible for much broader audiences. So, you know, there's that whole thing of, you know, everyone always says, well, okay, so the Eagles just turn up at the end there and they come and pick up the hobbits. Why didn't they just fly the ring to Mordor that way? And you go, well, okay, there's a number of reasons why, and so on and so forth. So you can't introduce too many elements where you go, well, why weren't they around? Why didn't that person do this? What was this up to? Because then you have to explain why they're not involved, as it were. You know, it's confusing enough as it is, I think, for an audience that's not invested. And often, like, the weird thing is this is one thing I would say, is a lot of the time I would always suggest that books actually are just better in television format, right? They just are, because you can tell much more of the story, because you've got a lot more time to fill. But I actually don't think The Lord of the Rings would work very well in a film, in a TV show. I think it works better as a film. I think as a TV show it would be, well, I mean, it would basically be a musical, because they spend a lot of time singing about glens. Or about a very sad river, or a very sad walk. You know? There's a lot of that goes on. Oh. Loved your Blood Ravens tutorial. Thank you. Oh, you're very, very kind. Thank you, Jean-Michel. Where are we at? We are 7:30 nearly. Let's see if I can clip off a couple of horses. Horse. Horse. I wanted to get into Middle-earth wargaming, but I've been told it's much more complicated than AOS or 40k. In some respects, I would suggest that the game is probably a little bit more complex than those, yes. However, that's a tough one. It's not really actually that much more complex, to be honest. It's different. You know, you're not gonna see a couple of things that are familiar, like to hit roll and to wound roll, for example. But for me, it's a much more fun game than either of those. The other two are designed to be played kind of at scale, with tournaments in mind. I would say, but I think it's very, very... Once you get your head around a couple of things about it, you then fall back on your knowledge of Age of Sigmar and 40k to play it. So ultimately, it's not actually that much more complicated. And like list building is really easy in Age of Sigmar, not Age of Sigmar, MESBG. Mostly because so much of what you do in MESBG, particularly when it comes to a list building thing, is what's your favourite part of the film? There's probably a list for it, you know? And it has its own set of rules and benefits for taking that particular part. Like, for example, what we're doing today is we're building most of the component parts of Ride Out, which is an army list, where you can choose from... the choices you have are Riders of Rohan, Theoden has to be in the army, Aragorn, Legolas, Rohan captains, Royal Guard, Gamling on horse. Did I say Riders of Rohan? Royal Knights as well. That's it. That's all you have. And you can build your army out of that. And ultimately, I've pretty much built 400 points here because I have Theoden, Legolas, Aragorn, Gamling. That's basically like most of it. So for a typical size game of MESBG, I believe is 400, maybe 500 points. Some other people will know better than I will on that front. So you actually don't need... They're not gigantic armies either. Which I think is also another kind of feather in its cap, as it were. $500 to 800 points. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's that hole. Play Fellowship and you've got a 9 model army. There you go. Any plans on a Tomb World terrain tutorial? Not at the moment, Felipe. I haven't figured out how I want to do it. And I've got other stuff I need to be getting on with. How'd you do at Warhammer World? I didn't go. My doubles partner wasn't feeling very well, so it was cancelled. So I stayed here and worked instead. Just a little bit of a shame, but there we go. I was using Thorin's company on the weekend. 800-point army with 11 models. Well, there you go. So if you want to get started in MESBG, you can pick up Thorin's company as an example. You can pick up the Fellowship of the Ring, and you are already on your way to playing games with the playing games. You can't say better than that, really. You know? That is something that MESBG has over 40k and Age of Sigmar. For sure. You know, you can play Spearhead, but you're playing Spearhead. You're not playing big 40k, as it were. 40k? Age of Sigmar. Spearhead is a very good game, though. It's not like you didn't have 1,000 other things to occupy you. Yes, well, exactly. I was able to get on with my to-do list. Do you have a Balrog tutorial? No, but I do have a Balrog to build and paint. Just fill that with super glue, to be fair. Let's just do that. What was your first army in MESBG? I mean, I collected it when I was a much younger warthog, and I didn't really do it in armies. I just collected everything that was MESBG, so just kind of everything really. I had the Return of the King, the Two Towers, and I had both. I definitely had Two Towers, and the Return of the King core boxes. I can't remember if I had the Fellowship one. I don't think I did. And then, of course, the magazines happened. The Battle Games in Middle-earth, or whatever it was called. I had that, so I did that as well. That'll do for now. Just get a little bit of super glue in this guy's hand, so we can put his sword in. do your sword as well. Why not? Been sat out with my pet ducks this evening. It's been a great stream to enjoy and chat along with people. Many thanks, Josh. Oh, thank you very much, Snowy, for the £10. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Kudos on having pet ducks. That's awesome. That's the skin done for my 40 heads. Some cleaning up and then onto the hair. Blimey, fritters. That is a lot of heads. You crazy. Damn it. I dropped the sword. Most I can batch paint is 10 MESBG warriors or 2 to 3 space marines. Yeah, but the most I can do at one time as anything is 5 models. If I have to do 6, it makes me very sad. That's why when people ask me any tips for batch painting, I say do things in 5s. Because doing it any other way makes Josh sad. That'll do for him. Right, we've got one more horse to build. Yeah, we'll go with just one of these. This will be fine. That's there. And then we've built our entire movie represented Ride Out With Me list. Of course, it's probably not the whole thing. We would need a couple more models, I suspect, actually, to make up the points, but unless some brave person with an MESBG thing wants to figure it out for me. But we will have five Rohan Royal Guard. Legolas on horse. Aragorn on horse. Theoden on horse. And Gamling on horse with the Royal Standard. All built. Which is very exciting. What about Gimli? No, he wasn't there. He was blowing the horn. He was blowing the horn of Helm Hammerhand. He didn't ride out with Legolas. Someone wants to buy... No, no one wants to buy me anything, brother. I said if someone wants to figure out how many points we have on the table, is what I was talking about. Alright, it's that one. Please make a tutorial for the Royal Standard. Yeah, no, that's the plan. That's the plan. Still currently waiting to get my hands on Dale wine. A model that will never be back in stock. Ever again. No Dale wine for you. How many Rohan Royal Guard have you got, Hipster? Well, I have... I will have built 5 for this particular thing, but I do have 9. So there are 4 more to build after this. What about on foot? Well, yeah, no, I have 9 on foot as well. You have 621 points there. So 3 with throwing spears, 2 with swords. It's probably illegal. Do you have much of a pile of unpainted minis, or do you simply plough through so many you don't? Oh, Woodrow McWood. I have a pile of shame that would shock you to your core. It might look like I paint every single miniature that ever comes through, but trust me, I don't. There are many that don't get finished. just fill you with a little bit more super glue, shall we? Well, we've done it. There you go. Look at that. Doesn't that look cool? Yes, I do have the Mirkwood Cav. Worst painter here. Wait, hang on. Something's gone wrong here. That's not the right box. That's Gamling and Hammer's box. And Hammer's there. So he goes back in there for now. Put it in the right way up. Gamling and Hammer, and the Royal Guardsman in here. Yeah. Nope, that's the base, spare base. It's not spare base, it goes with them. Legolas and Gimli go over there, and there we go. That's it. That's the screen accurate version. Ish. Some of them don't have spears in the screen. But anyway, it's now 10 to 8, ladies and gentlemen, so it's time for us to conclude things there. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. We will be back live on Wednesday. Glad we finally got that all built. That's nice. That's exciting. It's cool. It's looking great. We'll probably go and do a couple more Rohan Royal Guard at some point before we're ready to film this, but That's all we really needed for the sake of having that done. So on Wednesday, hopefully we'll be live again, and then on Thursday it will be Contrast Plus How to Paint Darnath Lysander. Yeah, so look forward to that, and I'll see you all on Wednesday if I see you. Thank you so much. Here is the hand of farewell. I shall wave it at you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, you lovely, beautiful people. Love you guys. Bye.